Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to class 8 English. A shot in the dark. Unit number 2. Today we will discuss. Let's start our discussion. First of all, we will learn about the writer. The writer of this lesson is Hector Hugh Munro. He was born in 1870 and died in 1916. His pen name was Saki, and he was a novelist, short story writer. He was born in Myanmar, Burma now it is called, and he studied in England, joined the police force in Burma, and returned to England in 1896, and he started working as a newspaper reporter, and he was killed in the World War I on the Western Front. So this was the introduction of writer, and next thing that we will learn about the plot of the lesson. What is the theme of the lesson? So the word "a shot in the dark" is idiom, and it means an act or attempt or guess that has a little chance of success. And the theme of the lesson is misconception. Takes place between Phillips Slatterbay and Bertie. So misconception takes place between two people. That is, one is Slatterbay, Phillips Slatterbay, and second is Bertie. Slatterbay misunderstood Bertie, and Bertie lost the purse after sealing the envelope with the crest and told that Salt Pen crest was Demilan, but the mother's letter had the greyhound crest. Above all, the Bertie told his mother had dark brown hairs, but she was blonde. Bertie asked the Slatterbed to lend the 3 quid to himself. That is what caused the misconception in the minds of Philip Slatterbee. Now, characters. There are 4 main characters in this story: Philip Slatterbee, Mrs. Salpenjago, Bertie, and Cloud people like Cassie. And the 2 crests are discussed in this story. The family trees shows the family identification. One is the old crest, Demilan, and second is new crest, a greyhound grant. So first of all, the character of Philip Slatterbee. Philip Slatterbee is the main character of the story. He leaves for the Bell Manor to meet with Mrs. Saltpenjago, who was an influential lady in London and country of Yorkshire. He wanted to impress her because he wants to be an MPA. With her support and her influence, he wanted to use her influence. He meets with an stranger who calls himself the second son of Mrs. Salpenjago. He tells his name as a Bertie. Bertie asks Letterby to lend him 3 quarts or pounds because he forgets his purse at home. He so but the Slatterbay is a man who takes time to analyze the people. He is a person who does not believe anyone at once. So he does not allow others to make fool. He asks many questions even though he knows the person very well. It helps him to lose his money. So that's why he asks questions to the people. He tells the person clearly with whom he is sitting that the man is trying to cheat him. So he misunderstands the Bertie that he is not son of Mrs. Salpenjago. Slatterbee asks Bertie about their family crest and about his mother. So the details that Bertie gives to the Slatterbee, it does not match. It creates misconceptions. It creates misconception in the mind of Slatterbee. So Slatterbee denies to help Bertie. He thinks to tell the train incident to others to prove his intelligence, which will increase his chances of party manager. On reaching Brillmanor, Slatterbee meets with Claude people. On their way, he sees 2 crests kept in the window at the window of the car. He comes to know that recent change in Mrs. Salpenjago's crest and her appearance. So it makes us be silent and speechless in the end of the story. So this was the character of Mr. Philip Slattery, who judges people by asking many questions. But now the second character in this story is Mrs. Salpenjago. Mrs. Salpenjago was a powerful and influential lady. She has a great influence in the country of Yorkshire and London. Slattery intends to get a position in a society using her. She is a brilliant woman. She knows when to take someone and drop someone, and she spoils herself and her chances by being too restless, and she had a good appearance until she becomes blonde. Slattery meets her son Bretty in the train. Now, third character is Bretty. Bretty is the second most important character of the story. He is a 22 years young boy. He has dark hairs and a fresh complexion. He meets Slattery in the train and introduced himself as the second son of Mrs. Salpenjago. He tells him that he knows him, that he is going to stay with his mother's, who is with Mrs. Salpenjago, who is his mother, and he asks Letterby to lend him £3 because he forgets his purse at home. At first, Letterby agrees to give, but he asks some questions to confirm whether he is telling a lie or speaking the truth. Slattery finds contradiction between his words and real Christ and his mother's appearance. The fourth character is Claude of People, a group professional liars working for the Mrs. Salt Penjago and tall and talkative man, and he receives Slattery at the Brill Manor. He boosts up of expensive and luxurious car, and in the car Slattery sees the two trees kept in a box. And Carrie's Slattery comes to know that the both crest belongs to the Jago family, and he comes to know that about recent change that took place in Mrs. Jago from the clot. So these were the four characters. Now look at the summary of the poem, or summary of the lesson. Slattery leaves for the Brill Manor to meet with Mrs. Salpenjago. He wants to be MP at the country of Yorkshire. He wants to use the influence and power of Mrs. Salpenjago. On the way towards Brill Manor, he meets a stranger in the railway carriage. The boy takes out six penny from his waistcoat. On searching his waistcoat, he takes out a cigarette case, matchbox, silver key, and silver pencil case and railway ticket on the seat beside the Slattery. And meanwhile, Slattery is reading a newspaper magazine. The stranger introduces himself as the second son of Mrs. Salpenjago, and he tells his name as Pretty. He says Slattery that he knows him and he is going to stay with his mother. Being acquaintance, he asks Slattery to lend him £3. Slattery asks Britty about their family Christ and about his mother. Britty tells Slattery that their family Christ is greyhound currant and her mother has blonde hair. The details that Britty gives to Slattery, it does not match, so it creates misconception in the mind of Slattery. Under the suspicion, Slattery denies to help Britty and thinks to tell the train incident to others to prove his intelligence, which will increase his chances of party manager and reaching the Brill Manor. Slattery meets with the Clod people on their way. He sees two Chris kept at the window of the car, and he comes to know about the change in recent change in Salt Mrs. Saltpen's Christian appearance, and it makes Slattery silent and speechless at the end of the story. So that was the story. Now conclusion. In conclusion, Slattery realized that Britty had not lied to him, and he realized that he had made misconception mistakes. he had mistaken him for a fraud. So it is the moral of the story. It is said that don't judge the people by their appearance. So keep in that mind. I hope you have understood the lesson. This is the whole lesson about it. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.